Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. This is Amy. And first of all, what I wanted to say is thank you so much to all of you who have subscribed to my channel. I have only been doing this for less than a month, and I already have a little over 50 subscribers. And I'm pretty excited about that. When I get to 100 subscribers, I am going to do a giveaway. So stay tuned for that. But I wanted to just show my appreciation to all of you who have subscribed so far, who've liked my videos, who've shared them, who've left comments. It is truly, truly appreciated. I'm having a lot of fun and I feel like I'm just getting started. So I'm hoping, for a lot of exciting things to happen. The main reason why I started my channel was to do Throwback Thursday. I wanted to catch up with my scrapbooking, and I'm still going to do that. I just got a little sidetracked, and I probably shouldn't have put up those videos yet until I was 100% ready. So I do apologize for that, but don't worry, it's coming. So hang tight to that. What we're going to do today is a mixed media project using my old baby wipes. These are baby wipes that I use to clean up after art journaling or any kind of painting that I do or watercoloring or whatever the case may be. Um, a lot of times I will throw them out, but lately I've really been, diving into the mixed media stuff again. Recently I did an ATC swap. Right now I am going to be working on some tags. I'm going to be doing my first tag flip. And this is for Kimmy Kim here on YouTube, who just hit 1,000 subscribers. She is doing a giveaway, and so I thought I would just enter that. Not necessarily to win, but mainly my goal is just, just to kind of get my name out there and, start sharing with people. I love doing swaps. I definitely love doing swaps. So if anybody wants to do an ATC swap, please let me know. I would love to do that. Or even, a stamped card or something like that. I'm not ready to do any challenges or anything yet myself. I really want to focus just on kind of getting things started with my channel. I never even did a introductory video yet. You will see my face soon, I promise. I need to get my hair colored first. So anyhow, I decided that I would try out this tag flip and submit an entry for Kimmy Kim's giveaway. And so, like I said, I've been doing a lot of artsy fartsy projects, and I thought I would save these baby wipes and kind of show you a technique I learned from a gal here on YouTube. Her name is Packer Dye, and it's Diane Fago, I think, aka Packer Dye. I will try to leave her link below. To be honest, I'm still learning my way around YouTube and shooting videos and editing and all that kind of stuff, as I'm sure you can tell by watching my videos. I'm hoping that I'm going to get better because I have a lot that I want to share and contribute to. I've learned a lot from a lot of people on here, and I'm really having a lot of fun. I've met like a lot of really super nice people, not in person, but just through communicating through my channel, and I'm just having a ball. So anyways, long story short, I'm going to go ahead and work on some tags. I'm not going to do all mixed media tags as far as it's not going to be a complete mixed media flip book, but some of the tags that I include in the flip, I do want to have some mixed media backgrounds done. So I've got here, like I said, some of these painty papers. This, or not papers, but this is paper towel. And these are baby wipes. And they're dry and they're a couple weeks old. So I've used them and saved them. If I'm not going to use them anytime soon, sometimes I will throw them away if I'm sick of having them lay around. But I do try to keep them because I feel like it's a waste. There's a lot of good paint on here, and baby wipes are pretty strong and thick, so they make a really nice base for a card or an ATC card or for this technique in particular. Um, there, so I guess let's just dive right in. I have some tags here. These are manila tags that I've had laying around for a very long time. If you don't have any tags like this, I have also used a manila folder. The reason why I use this instead of really good cardstock is number one, it's sturdy. They're cheap. And, you know, with this technique, the paper really doesn't matter, if you know what I mean. I don't know. I don't know how else to explain it, but I don't want to waste my good paper, I guess is what I should say. I don't want to waste my good acid-free scrapbooking paper to do a project like this. And I need something heavy-duty, something a little bit more substantial than, just regular copy paper. All right. I'm going to show you, just this is going to be in steps because it does take each step does take a little bit of time to dry. I've also got some Mod Podge here. I prefer the matte finish. You can use whatever kind of Mod Podge you have. You could even use Elmer's glue. I've done that when I've run out of Mod Podge. Just water it down a little bit so it's the consistency of Mod Podge. I've used matte medium. Matte medium is way more expensive, so I try to save that for special projects. For this project in particular, you go through quite a bit of Mod Podge, so I'm just going to use that. Then I usually will always have, I know this is kind of icky, but this is just a jar with a little bit of water. Believe it or not, this is all rinsed, and this is fresh water I just got this morning. I know it looks milky, but it's just an icky jar, and I do rinse this out after use. This is an old paintbrush. I don't want to use my good stuff when I'm working with Mod Podge. Underneath, I just have a mat that I got from the Dollar Tree. These are $1, so I don't really care if it gets all icky. I've got actually a couple of them here, and then I've got some other paper towel as well. So I guess let's just go ahead and get started. The first thing that I do is I like to look at the baby wipes to see which side I prefer, which side has more color. I actually like this side. It's not going to look like this when all is said and done because I'm going to add more paint, more texture, more ink. It could be paint, it could be acrylics, it could be watercolor. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do. Right now, the first step is just to adhere the tags to the baby wipes, just to get it started. So I go through and I pick out which ones I want to use, and we'll start out with this one, I guess. So I prefer this side. It's got the most paint on there. This is all dry, so it's kind of almost the consistency right now of fabric. But if I pulled really hard, it would tear apart. And even if it did tear apart, it wouldn't be that big of a deal because I would just Mod Podge it together on the tag. So what this does is it gives me a good base for a background. I'm just going to go ahead and open up my Mod Podge. I usually will kind of, brush off some of the water here, and maybe, oops, didn't mean to slam that so hard, and maybe just kind of dab it off on a paper towel, a dry paper towel, just to get, I like it moist, but I don't want it watery, is what I'm getting at, okay? So I've decided that I want this side to be face up, so I want to glue them to the back side. All right. And I put a substantial amount of Mod Podge on there. And I think I could probably get away with fitting at least 3 tags on here. That hole doesn't concern me because that's going to probably get covered up anyways, eventually, with all of the different steps that I'm going to be doing. So again, like I said, I don't want this to be wet with water, but I do want a damp brush to start. So I think what I'm going to do this in steps, obviously, because I have to let it dry. I don't like to use a heat tool when I'm working. Whoops, I'm going to pull this up just a little bit. Move it over. I want to be able to fit 3 of them on here. I don't like to use a heat tool to dry things when I'm doing mixed media projects for the most part. What I'll do is I'll do like one step, then I'll run and go do laundry or dishes or take a shower or a walk or whatever I got to do. And then I'll come back to it. Or sometimes I'm a multitasker, as a lot of us women are, and I will go ahead and just kind of work on several projects at a time. So I might like do this step and then maybe start a project in my art journal or do some stamping or whatever. So I've got that first coat on there. I'm just going to set that aside. Excuse me. So this one I'm looking at, both sides pretty much look the same to me. I kind of like that sunbursty look, but this one looks like it has a little bit more paint. I'm just trying to decide here. When you can't figure out which side looks best, it really, I guess, doesn't matter. So we're going to go ahead and just continue. Like I said, I don't like to use my heat tool, so I do let it air dry. It's a really nice sunny day here in the Midwest, even though it is freezing outside. I live in Wisconsin, so yeah, nice, huh? I definitely am not a winter person, so I really don't know why I live here. Other than I just grew up here, and it's just kind of fate. All my kids are here, so there's no way I'm going to leave them. And I have a grandson now, so yeah, there's just no way. Okay, so I would probably do more than 3, just because while I've got this all out, I probably would do at least, 12 total. But we're going to start out with 6 just for the sake of this video. The next thing that I like to do is I like to trim it down right away while it's drying, because I do add a coat of Mod Podge on the other side as well before I go on to the next step. And you'll see that in a moment. If you wanted to save this, you could. I usually don't unless it's a very large amount. But I'm going to trim it a lot better once I get through this first step. But for now, I'm just kind of doing a rough trim just to get that extra off. You're going to want to use, and if you tear it a little bit, don't worry about it. It almost becomes like fabric, so you can just kind of push it together or just put another layer on top. If you wanted to gather all these scraps to put on another tag, you could, but I have so many laying around right now that I don't mind if I just throw these little scraps away. Did I say you should use an old scissors? Obviously, that's probably common sense. Okay, so then I'm going to flip these over, and I'm going to have my water here as well. So the first part, adhering it to the tag, I make sure that I keep my brush damp, but not watery, okay? For this step, I still dip it in the Mod Podge, and I get a pretty good amount on there. And I'm just going to go ahead and brush it over. And then I will dip it in the water and go over it again. Okay. And then I'll set these aside to dry. We'll do a couple more. While these are drying, you know, like I said, I usually will go and do something else. In this case, I'm probably going to, you know, cut up some tags. I want this shape. I like the curved edge. And so I'm going to trace this. I'm going to make a couple, I got this in a Michael's grab bag a couple years ago. Kind of cool. What I would like to do with this is add some alcohol inks to it and see how that works. But anyways, I'll probably cut out 6 in this shape and do that to these as well off camera. So, you know, put a nice coat on there, add a little bit of water. I only add water to this first layer here. Oop, there's a piece of string. Could just be the fibers from the baby wipe. I will, after this sits a little bit, before it is completely dry, I will add another coat of just Mod Podge. So the first coat to this side is Mod Podge and water, and then I'll go back over it and add another coat of just Mod Podge, and then I will let it dry 100%. I know it seems like a lot of steps, but if you like mixed media, it's fun. And I love it. I love all the layers and all the steps and whatnot. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, I'm going to go ahead and give these all another coat of Mod Podge right away. Let them dry completely. And then I will probably trim around the edges once they're dry completely. And then I'll come back and show you the next step. Thanks. See you in a bit. All right, guys, I am back. So these have dried. And I've got a bunch of them lined up on my windowsill. This is what they look like after I trimmed them and I punched the holes again. There's a couple. This one's really cool. This one looks patriotic to me. So what I need to do is just kind of pick out a few. I'm not going to do them all, but I ended up doing quite a bit. So what I thought I would do is just show you kind of how I trim them. These ones are still a little bit damp, but not too bad. Oops. So I am going to go ahead and trim them. And just kind of show you. It is a lot easier to trim them when they're drier, I will say that. And you're going to have it where they're going to come up on the ends. But trust me, when all is said and done, it's going to be sealed on there like cement. Well, not quite, but you know what I mean. It's not going to be going anywhere. Because at the very, very end, once we do all the steps between the ink and modeling paste and whatever else I decide to put on there, at the very, very, very end, I'll either put another coat of Mod Podge or I will, oops, actually put it on here. I'm either going to put another coat of Mod Podge on there or some kind of a sealer. I've got like a varnish, which helps to soak in there as well. So I did a ton of them. I did like, I don't know, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. I did 18. Okay. But I am not going to decorate 18 of them today. I'm only going to decorate, you know, probably 6 or 8 of them at the most. because I'm not going to include all of these in one flip. I'm going to include a bunch of different kinds of styles and designs, and you'll see. I'll show you when I'm all done before I send them to Kimmy Kim what it looks like. Or I might wait and just have her do that because, well, we'll see. So yeah, these are still a little damp, but you can see it's cutting pretty easily. It is, like right there, you can see it's pretty damp. It tore a little bit because it's damp, and my scissors is really dull. Oh my gosh, I totally lost my train of thought. Don't you hate that? I'm getting a little bit more comfortable behind the camera. I know that I say, when I get nervous, I say a lot when I lose my words, so I apologize for that. That's really kind of silly to get nervous because I could just edit it out now that I've figured out how to edit. Well, I'm still not very good at that either, but this is getting edited out. So I can continue just to trim these down when they are drier. You know, the more dry they are, the easier it definitely is to trim them. And then the next step, what we're going to do is we're going to put modeling paste on these. I've got some stencils out, and, you know, like I said, I'm not going to do all of these, but at least when I have, you know, when something comes up and I need a tag, I've got a good foundation. And I've got a bunch of them made up. And like I said, I do that with ATCs as well. I kind of keep them in a box, you know, at different stages, and whenever I'm inspired to work on them or something comes up and I think, ooh, I could, you know, use that background for it. Okay. Alright, so then I'm going to go ahead and take my punch and punch through those holes now at this point. And, you know, as you go along, if you notice areas that needs to be trimmed up a little bit better, you can certainly do that. Like right here, I missed that little section. But now is the time to punch that hole. And if you're making tags, you know, you just kind of eyeball it. And these are nice because they have the reinforcement already on there. Kind of like that. All right. Set this on the floor for now. So here we've got my modeling paste stuff. We're going to get to that next. So here, as you can see, we have a few different designs. Okay. And I've actually got a ton of them. This one's really pretty. I definitely want that one. This one looks patriotic to me, so I might save that for, like, you know, July or something. So you can see all these different backgrounds, and I've got a whole slew of them now, which is pretty cool. It would be neat to do a flip with all of this, but, you know, like I said, I kind of like to do things. I don't know, you ever make, if you're a card maker and you have like a lot of Christmas cards to make or thank you cards to make, you know, it's sometimes easier just to do it in kind of like an assembly line type of deal. That's what I feel anyways. Okay, so now I've got all of these nice, beautiful bases. And I'm going to pick out a few that I really, really like that I think I'm going to send. And because it's we're getting close to Valentine's Day and I still have all of my Valentine's stuff out, I'm probably going to do a few that are kind of Valentine cutesy. This reminds me of spring. So I'm going to save those. I don't really care for that one a whole lot, but yeah, that one definitely. Maybe. I do like that one. Do a few that are, but these kind of remind me of springy. I don't know why. That one I think I'll save for 4th of July or something. These with the green in there could be St. Patty's. So let's see, how many do we have here? I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8's a good start. We'll set all these other 10 aside. And then now what I have here is modeling paste. This is my Golden. It's almost empty, so I need to get some more. Like, I seriously just have a little bit, so it's a good thing these are small, and that is another reason why I'm only doing a few. I don't have a Teflon mat, so I'm going to go ahead and put wax paper under here. Or I could just go ahead and use this older mat as well. Or maybe both. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, I'll just leave this on here. I also have some stencils. I've got like this floral one that I got from the Dollar Tree. It's kind of cheap, but it worked. I've done it before. This one I got from my sister-in-law. These are some Tim Holtz ones. And this one is really cool. It's hard to see, but it's got like circles and flowers, and I didn't clean it off good enough last time. That's one thing too, when you're working with texture paste or modeling paste or anything like that, you want to clean your stencils off pretty quickly to get all of that out of the grooves. And then I've got like a little toothbrush thing that I just kind of scrub it, and sometimes I have to soak it in soapy water if I get sidetracked and forget to clean it or whatever. So I think I'm going to try to start with this one. Now this one has an adhesive back, and it's pretty flimsy and cheap. I'm not going to lie. I mean, obviously the Dollar Tree products, a lot of them are really good. But for the Dollar Tree, it's not too bad. It's just, if you pull it off of the acetate too roughly, you are going to rip some of it. I think what I'm going to do is, so we're just going to get started. I'm no rhyme or reason as to what I'm doing, but I kind of dig this design here. There isn't any ink up here though, so it would be kind of neat to have some texture up here. And you can already kind of see, I don't know if you can see that or not, but there's a circle here, and that came out from the baby wipe. You know how baby wipes have like little letters and circles, and well, I mean, some of you may know, they you know, that added a little bit of texture, almost like a little circular stamp or whatever. So the only thing about going up here is then I'm going to go right over, oh, that will work, never mind. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead, what I was getting at is I was going to go over that hole. So I'm going to go ahead and take my modeling paste, and I just have a plastic spatula. You can get these at the Dollar Tree. You can get them anywhere, any craft store. I think the next time I'm going to try to make my own texture paste. I saw some lady had a recipe for it, or not some lady, but that gal, Lori Marie, that I've been watching with the Altered Books. She made some with baby powder, and it turned out really great. She said it lasts a long time too. It was a heck of a lot cheaper because I go through a lot of it. So here, I don't know how this is going to work, but we will see. I don't think I've ever used a stencil on anything but paper, so we'll see. And I want to keep as much of it as I can because I have a lot. I have 8 of them that I want to do, and I'm not going to use the same stencil on all of them, but I do want to use the stencil on most of them. And then I usually would just kind of, like, anything that I see that I don't like, I just take either my thumb or my finger. Like here you can see it's kind of wonky. So I'll just take my thumb and kind of clean some of that off and put it back inside the container. So there, I've got a little bit of texture up on the top, and I'm going to lay that aside to dry as well. And actually, you can't see, but I have a little windowsill here to the left of me with nothing on it. Put the wax paper up there, and the sunlight will help dry that. Okay. Next one. So I'll probably maybe do 2 with this, and we'll go ahead and put this on the bottom. It doesn't have to be perfect. You're just looking to get a little bit of texture. You don't even have to do the whole image if you don't want to. Like, you know, here I almost missed that. Again, this is a pretty flimsy stencil, so I'm going a little bit too rough. There. And there's just a little part right there that's kind of wonky. So I think that looks kind of cool. Definitely not done yet though. This is just the texture. There's many different steps yet to do. Now I think for the next one, I'm going to use this Tim Holtz stencil. And for I don't care if it gets on the back because, yeah, it just happens. It's just the way it is. So there's quite a bit of color up on top here. I don't want, you know, just the whole thing to be full of modeling paste. So in this case, I'm just going to do a little section down here. Maybe do a little section up here and then in this corner. And then I'll scrape it. Okay. So there you can see your eye kind of goes there. It's kind of like if you're a stamper and you've got your focal point in the center and then you're stamping like, you know, your little details around it. You kind of follow that rule of thumb. I don't know. I do. You don't have to. You can do whatever you want. All right. And then I usually will scrape this up to save it. We'll grab another one. Just put a little bit. You can do it any way you want. If you want to cover the whole thing, you can certainly cover the whole thing. I like to do our wax paper. I don't like to do the whole thing. I like to do little bits because I like to put a focal point on there, and it's hard to glue things over your focal point or over texture. Okay, so I've done 2 with that, 2 with this, and I will be washing those shortly here. I don't have very much at all. So we've got 4 more. We're going to do these 2 look like they would need circles. So I go up here. Again, I'm just kind of putting it in 3 different places. This one you can hardly see because there is a lot of white on it, so that one's going to need a lot of ink. Some of these aren't going to require a lot of more paint, and some are, some more than others. It just depends. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what kind of mood I'm in when we get to that point. So, there's that one. This modeling paste does not take long to dry. Not long at all, actually. By the time I wash the stencil and, you know, get cleaned up and run down and do laundry and come back up, it should be ready for the next step. Okay, so now this one has circles and flowers. I'm really into the circles for some reason. So I'm going to go ahead and lay that on there. And this one I am going to do the whole thing. So I have to do some scraping here. Getting down to the nitty gritty. And I'm going to go, ooh, whoops, don't do that, guys. So I'm going to go across this whole thing. Careful not to move your stencil. I do that all the time. And then sometimes you have to scrape it off and start over. And depends, I guess, on how picky you are. I wish I had a Teflon mat. I think I ordered one from Amazon. So there. These are going to be cool. One more and then I'll let you go and we'll let this dry and we will come back and do the next step. So at this point, while it's drying, I want to think about, what kind of image I want to put on there. Do I want to put images on there? Do I want to stamp on it? I want to put hearts on there for value. Think about that. And then I also want to look at them and pull, either acrylic paints or watercolors or something that pull the colors out of what's already on the baby wipe and just kind of, choose either similar colors or colors that are compatible to what's already on the background. So like, for example, this one I'll pull green, orange, and red probably. I probably won't do more than 2 or 3 colors. For this one, I'll probably pull maybe tan, red, and teal, or maybe just red and teal, or maybe just tan and teal. I don't know. There's a lot of red on there. So it just depends. So you want to think about that. I'm going to go ahead and clean my stencils and clean up the spatula and my table. Let these dry, and I will be back to show you the next step. Thanks, guys. See you soon. Hey guys, I'm back. Okay, it's been a while. I took a nap. I'm going to finish these up. So everything is all dry. I've got my inks all ready. And what I'm going to do is just add a little bit more color to these. Because I want to bring out the stencil. So I'll probably do, for this one, I think I'm going to stick with the red. And I've got these inks that I picked up that everybody was pretty much hauling when they were on clearance. Not last week, but the week before last at Hobby Lobby. So I would normally not have purchased these because they were so expensive. The original price is like $5.99 for one, but they were on clearance for $1.49. So I kind of went nuts and bought a lot. So they're a really fluid acrylic ink. I love them. I'm so glad I went ahead and did it. I hesitated and I thought, you know what, I'm just going to break down and do it. I really don't want to be doing a whole lot of hauls this year and spending a lot of money on products. Like everybody else, I think we just want to use what we have and be creative. So, I forgot my water. Hang tight. Hold on. Be right back. Okay, sorry about that. In the process of reorganizing my craft room, and so I had been working out at my dining room table, so half my crap is out there and the other half is in here and whatever. So as I was saying, I just want to add more color to the stencil. Everything is all nice and dry. I love that. And so we'll see what happens here. I'm just going to, hopefully you can see this. I'm just going to kind of add a little bit of color. This has a lot of pigment. And then I'm just going to add some water and let it drip. And the cool thing is that when you start to see it drip down the stencil, hopefully you guys will be able to see that. And I just, like I said, I want to bring out that stencil, add a little bit more color before I add any stamps or focal points or images or whatever I'm going to do. Okay. So I'm just going to go through, and I'm not going to use red on all of them, but I am going to use red on a lot of them. And you see what I mean, how you get it all over the place. Okay. So basically this is my process, is I just go through and I add one color to bring out the stencil, add a little bit of ink, add some water and let it drip and kind of blot it. And this is how I get my cool background papers. These are paper towels though. Actually, what I'm going to do with these paper towels is I am going to cover some boxes with eventually that I had purchased a long time ago. These two, and these have quite a bit of red. So this is just a little spray bottle that I got when I was a Close to My Heart consultant years and years ago. And I just put water in here and I use it just to spritz. I will put more red on this one. I just let it drip. Ooh, I like that. And I just kind of move it around. I try to keep as much of the ink on there as possible. I don't necessarily want drip marks, but I want the ink to go over the stenciled area to bring out oh my gosh, lost the words again. To bring out the modeling paste. Okay, so I'm just gonna go through. Right now I'm just working with, what color is this? This is Crimson. I love these paints. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad I broke down and got these. Like I said, I would not have purchased them at regular price. No way. Adding a little bit of color. You see how cool this is, you guys? This is such a neat technique. I love it. Okay, so I've got 4 red ones. Now I'm going to switch to these. These have a little bit of red, so I'm still going to continue with the red. Crimson, whatever. I love how this has just a little dropper. You can just add it. This almost looks kind of Christmassy. So I'm already in love with just the paper towel. So silly. I don't want to use too much water, but the water will, that's why you put so much Mod Podge on, because the water will absorb into, oops, the baby wipe. And that's, see what I mean about the back? You're going to get it all ooky. I just set them up on the windowsill again to dry. So by the time I go through this first color, I should be ready for the second color. I just love how it just starts to come to life. Neat, neat, neat. Okay. Now these last two don't have a lot of red in them. This one's the only one that has turquoise and pink. I'm really liking that. And of course, pink is pretty much the only color in this ink that I could not find. They didn't have it. I'm trying to decide. I guess I'm just going to go ahead with the red again on this one. But the other one doesn't have any red, really, so I'm not going to add red to that one. We'll figure it out in a minute. Probably purple. But I love how it just starts to bring out the stencil. It probably appears like you're wasting a lot. This is highly pigmented paint, like I said, so um, a little bit goes a long way. Oops, that was a lot. Didn't mean to do that. Am I adding the water? Which, oh, rats. I wish I had a bigger spray bottle, because now I have to refill this again. Okay, for this one, like I said, I don't have pink, but there's purple in there and there's green, or turquoisey. So I think I'm going to start green. That'll look kind of cool, hopefully. Yeah, that matches. Really wish I had pink. Darn it. I like that pink. Ooh. Green overkill. Shoot. Oh well, I'll fix it. Somehow, hopefully. I have to try to mix some colors together off camera and see if I can figure out how to get that pink that I'm looking for. Alright, so now I'm going to go back to these two. And I just keep moving the paper towel around. I think I will add a little bit of purple to these. And I love this Velvet Violet is what it's called. And I accidentally picked up 2 of these, I think. Yeah, I did. But this has like a metallic finish, and I think that's really neat. This is the only one that I have that, it's plugged up. It's the only one that I have that has the metallic look. All the rest, sometimes these get clogged and then you have to go and get a pin or a toothpick or something to poke through it. And anyways, we're just going to add the purple. This will be pretty. Add a little shimmer. If you look really close, you can see that shimmer just move. Oh, I wonder if you could see that, you guys. Look at that shimmer. It just moves. I'm going to lay this under here to catch. Try to save some of the ink. Okay, I'm just adding a little bit more purple. I'm just trying to kind of bring out that stencil a little bit more with this color. Ooh, it's looking pretty. Okay. Now let's go with these two. Really kind of limited on my colors because I'm really having the urge to use pink. But that's okay. That's probably the hardest part, is sometimes trying to figure out what color I should bring in. These I might try to go with more of a blue and I might regret it, but we're going to try it. This is the turquoise I was looking for. See how fluid those are? Let's see how this looks on here. It's a little bit too powdery blue, I think. And if you don't like it, you just keep going over it with different colors till you figure it out. Like, already I don't really like that, so I'm going to set that aside. I don't think I want to use, yeah, what the heck. Just keep squirting. So you kind of get the picture. You just go and you play around with your paints. Continue to disperse your color without making mud. If you make mud, you let it dry and you come back to it later. So I may have to play with that. This stuff will stain your clothes big time too, so you're going to want to wear, ooh, too much, too much, too much. Yeah, see, I mean, look at, like, you have to be kind of careful. Definitely don't like this one, so I'm just going to add a ton of water and get some of that blue off. There, that's a little bit better. Kind of feel like you're wasting paint sometimes, but you really, it just looks like that because you add so much water. They're so highly pigmented. Now this is really soggy, so I think I'm just going to have to let that sit for a while. Okay, so you kind of get the point. I'm going to go ahead and let these dry and do that. I will be back and we will be able to finish then the last part. So I might add a sentiment, I might add a saying, or I'm not sure yet. So I'm going to go figure that out and I'll see you in a little bit. Bye. Hey guys, it's Amy here. Unfortunately, I think I'm going to have to do part 2 tomorrow. I'm going to let these dry overnight. As you can see, they're still, well, you probably can't really tell. They're still pretty wet, but I'm going to do a close-up here so that you can see what they look like so far. They're turning out really, really cool. And as they dry, the color seems to get more vibrant. And I love that you can still see the stenciling. So they're turning out really cool. So these are the 8 that I've been working on. They are soaking wet. And so before I do anything further, and because we're losing daylight, I want to go ahead and get what I've done so far edited and posted. So that'll be part 1. And then tomorrow I'll come back with part 2 showing you the finishing touches. So I might try to, if these dry well enough, in the next hour or so, I'll probably finish them. But right now I've got 8 beautiful, beautiful backgrounds that they almost look gorgeous just as they are. I could see like a butterfly on a couple of them, or I almost don't know if I want to add anything else. So I have to think about it and sit on it, or think about it and just kind of walk away for a while and look at it and move on to something else. And this one's really neat. And then I'll come back, and see if I can get, part 2 up right away in the morning for you. So I hate to do that to you, but it is a long process. And I've got, a bunch of other stuff I need to get done. And these are the ones that I have ready that I'm going to pack away. These are the ones, they're all dry. But they're ready then for the next step, whatever that may be in the future. So, but for now, I'm just going to pack these up and wait for these to dry and add the finishing touches. And I will be back hopefully tomorrow morning. You never know. Maybe later on tonight. I don't know. But as it sits right now, I'm thinking probably won't be able to get part 2 up until tomorrow morning. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Hopefully you guys liked this video. Please give me a thumbs up if you did. But I will be back tomorrow to show you part 2 and the finishing touches on these 8. And in the meantime, I'm going to work on some other tags. I found these in my stash. These are kind of different. They're small. But I thought I could maybe do something with these. So they have like, one has like a wood grain background. They're really neat. And I got these on clearance at Hobby Lobby. I don't know, last year or the year before. So I'm sure I could add some fun things to these. I might pull out some die cuts. I don't know. But I'm going to play around with those to add to the flip book, and just so I have a variety of stuff. Work on finishing these up. I'll be back tomorrow morning to show you the finished product. And, as always, thank you so much for watching. Have a great evening, everybody, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.